You guys are looking forward to these as much as I am. My name is Gianna Santos. I am the health educator and nutrition counselor with the Take Care Wellness team.
My name is Rose Shandor, and I'm the Health Smart dietitian.
And my name is Joyce Milagrasha. I'm the Health Smart coordinator.
Okay, so what will we be starting with?
We will be starting with the salmon marinade. So go over to the side.
Okay.
So Joyce will be the main chef for today, and me and Gianna will be her sous chefs. So Joyce, first she has her fresh salmon, and we're gonna start with the marinade. Okay, so I'm gonna pass you the ingredients, and Joyce, you can let them know what's going in it.
So everything is pre-measured. We have brown sugar and garlic powder. Inside here we have sesame oil. Do you smell it?
Yeah, I do. It smells so good.
The sesame oil, soy sauce, Dijon mustard, and rice wine vinegar. Yes. Okay. So with the salmon, I did cut it up into 1-inch cubes because we're going to be putting it into skewers. Okay. So.
And you can mix everything all together. It doesn't need to be like diluted or anything like that. Okay.
So we chose a salmon marinade because typically at a barbecue we have a lot of meat dishes. So if you didn't know, it is recommended to eat omega-3 rich seafood at least twice a week. So this is one way to get in that seafood intake. Seafood is also generally leaner than most meat products. Not that it's less in fat, but it has a different fat profile. So when you barbecue over the open flame, when fats drip into the fire and the smoke comes back up, that actually creates compounds that can damage your cells and increase your risk of cancer. So the benefit with seafood is that less fat will be dripping onto that open flame, and then it also cooks way more quickly.
Okay. So now we put the marinade together and we're just gonna put it into the fridge. Okay.
Thanks, Joyce.
Right now it smells very like heavy, not heavy on the sesame, but you can definitely smell it. So it smells really good and roasty, very savory for sure. And you can still kind of smell that brown sugar soy sauce mixture. I wanted to ask, with that addition of brown sugar and soy sauce, how would you say that affects the nutrient profile of the dish? Or is it significant? Is it not very significant? Because it is just like a dressing. It's not like, it's not like super saturated with it. So I wanted to ask about that.
Good question. So as with anything, portion size is important when it comes to this dish. So because we're using 1 pound of salmon, we're gonna say that this is about 4 servings, 4 ounces per serving. And with that, this puts the sodium at about 400 milligrams,
Okay.
which is within the American Heart Association's recommendation for an entree.
Okay.
So they recommend no more than 600 milligrams per entree. As far as sugar, we know that most protein foods do not have carbs in general, right? If it's from an animal protein. So this does add 8 grams of carbs to that 4 ounce portion, which is important for anyone that's counting carbohydrates as part of monitoring their blood sugar. That's equal to half a carb choice.
And I feel like with the combination of recipes that we have today, it's not it's not like a negative thing to add to our meal, right? If we're looking at today's ingredients or today's recipes as like a full meal.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So now we'll be moving on to...
We'll be moving forward with the cauliflower red rice.
Okay.
Okay.
So the ingredients we have here today, this one is all of our seasonings. Salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika. And then we have about a cup of diced onions, about a tablespoon of minced garlic, and then we have the rice cauliflower and then washed rice. Don't forget to wash your rice. And as well as vegetable broth. Okay, so we will start with sauteing the onions and the garlic. So we'll go ahead and this thing moves.
I have a question about, just since you mentioned washing your red rice and the importance of it, does that reduce the amount of carbohydrates in the dish, like in the contents of the rice itself?
It does not reduce the carbohydrates, but some rice is fortified with vitamins and minerals, so washing it can reduce that fortified, those fortified nutrients. Kind of separate, but when a starch like rice, potatoes, or pasta are cooled, those carbs actually turn into resistant starch, which is a type of fiber, helps with blood glucose, important for your gut. So there is a benefit to eating cooled rice or pasta or potatoes. But we are enjoying this recipe hot today.
Thank God.
Saute the onion and garlic.
Okay, so I'll be assisting Joyce. I'm going to saute the onion and garlic. We are going to add some oil first.
Olive oil.
Okay, so when it comes to oil, if you are going to be cooking for a longer period at high temperature, recommended to use either avocado or canola oil. We are using olive oil today, and you just want to avoid olive oil if you're doing really high heat cooking. Okay, so we're just going to add our onions.
And while that's cooking, I'm just gonna be preparing the achote powder with water. So This packet should have about 1.5 tablespoons already. And then I have 3 tablespoons of water. So we're just going to mix it together and prepare it.
For me, I really like the idea of like a cauliflower red rice because would you say that adding the cauliflower allows for a lower portion of rice, or like would it help control your rice portion?
Definitely. So the intent of this recipe is to swap out half of your rice with cauliflower. Okay, so when you do that, for perspective, 1 cup of rice is about 200 calories, 45 grams of carbs, versus 1 cup of cauliflower is about 30 calories and only 5 grams of carbs. Okay, so if you're doing even a full cup of rice, but you're doing 2 cups of this, right? So a cup of rice plus that cup of cauliflower, you're really only getting 50 grams of carbs as opposed to 90 grams of carbs. So it's a huge difference. I think when people think of cauliflower rice, it can be kind of intimidating to use it as a 100% substitute. But again, the goal is, small steps, and it's not to go 0 carb, but just to reduce, because we are accustomed to eating large portions of rice.
Right.
So even if you're swapping out half, it still makes a huge, huge difference.
Right. And would you say that it's common for you in your practice to identify that as an issue for portion control? Is people and their love for rice?
It is. Yeah, that's usually when people come to see me, some of the first things that we need to work on is the rice portion as well as sweet drinks.
Yes, yeah.
Take over.
And that's something I see a lot as well, is people who just say, I love my rice, I can't give it up. And you don't have to give it up. We just want to work on portion control ultimately, and of course, depending on what your medical needs are and what your condition is. But I like the idea of adding volume to your rice with the cauliflower because in my experience, it doesn't really affect the flavor at all.
Yeah.
And it's a way to add that fiber into.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting
No.
you. But I do want to add, we're talking about reduction, but we're also adding a lot of benefits to the rice. We're adding more fiber. We're adding folate, we're adding vitamin C, we're adding potassium. All of these are important nutrients that you wouldn't have at that in a significant amount to just the rice alone.
And if we're talking my plate serving sizes and portions, a half cup of cauliflower added to your rice is also about a half serving of your vegetables for the my plate. On the side with fruits and vegetables, it would be a half serving of vegetables. Is that right?
Correct.
It smells so good already.
I'm just going to add a little bit more oil.
So I know everyone that does red rice probably has their own way of cooking it. So if you already have an idea of how you make your red rice, really all you're doing without changing your original recipe is just adding cauliflower, and we'll let you know when to add it. But you can, if you have your own red rice recipe, you can continue with that. You don't have to necessarily follow what we're doing today as far as all the spices.
So right now you just added the rice. You're mixing
Yes.
all the ingredients together.
Yes. So I'm just sauteing it together so the rice can kind of absorb all the seasonings. And then we'll add the cauliflower and then the vegetable broth.
We're gonna delay the cauliflower.
Delay it. Okay.
Okay. So because we're using frozen cauliflower and it's thawed, it does have moisture in it. So we found that when we tested this recipe, the cauliflower and the rice, they have different cooking times. The cauliflower didn't need to cook as long. So we want to get that rice cooked a little bit more before we add the frozen cauliflower. If you are starting from fresh cauliflower where the grains are a lot harder, then it would be recommended to add with the rice right now.
Adding a cup and a half of vegetable broth.
It smells so good.
And then,
And this is our mixture of the achati water, right?
yes, so make sure on low heat.
Let me get some gloves on and help you out while
Yeah.
we're doing this.
Just mix all of this together.
So if this is your first time to a workshop with us, our team here, Joyce, you know, she brings my vision to life. I'm the one with the crazy ideas on what we can do, but she's the one that really makes sure it works out in the
It works
kitchen.
So,
And the final products always work out. It's my favorite
Thanks to
part.
Joyce.
okay, so we'll go ahead and add the choti water. And just be careful, this thing will stain everything. Just mix it all together. All right.
So if we didn't go over it already, these are dishes that are typical, right, of a traditional Chamorro barbecue. We have to have our red rice. It's almost a staple at each family barbecue or each fiesta. So we have our red rice, we have our protein, and again, we'll have our fresh lumpia roll. This one I'm looking forward to because it's like a sweet take on the fresh lumpia rolls that we're used to. And when you're trying to approach these summer barbecues or your family barbecues in a healthier way, we want to try to figure out what is a familiar dish and how we can make it healthy. And so usually if you're bringing like lumpia, maybe fresh lumpia would be a good option to reduce the amount of fried foods on the table. But also the fresh fruit lumpia is like a sweeter take, right, or sweeter, more fiber-filled dessert that you can introduce to the table as well. And so I think while the rice is cooking, we'll be moving into the fresh lumpia. Is that right?
Correct. So we got a small little pot of red rice going on, and it's only going to take about 15 minutes to cook. We're going to add the cauliflower halfway through, so I'm going to try to keep that mental timer on. But if you are preparing a bigger pot, it is going to take more time, just an FYI. But that's your key if you're using frozen rice cauliflower, to add it about maybe when you only have like 10 minutes left, if you're doing a bigger serving.
Okay, so at the 10 minutes at the tail end of the cooking.
Yes. Okay, so we are moving on to our fresh fruit spring rolls. And to start, we are going to cut, actually, which Joyce is getting ready to do. Thanks, Joyce.
No problem.
So she's going to cut our apples and bananas just because we didn't want it to brown right before the workshop.
Okay. So for our fresh fruit spring rolls, these are the ingredients we have. This is the rice paper that we're using. I already went ahead and pre-cut some kiwis, fresh mango, and some strawberries. So what we're gonna be cutting right now is the bananas and apples. So we will do bananas.
So she's gonna cut the banana kind of lengthwise, so we have more like long strips rather than the usual round slices that you would have with a banana.
This is my first time cutting bananas like this too. So we'll cut into thirds and then maybe like into 3.
Yeah.
So just like that. I'll put it in our bowl.
I feel like this is like a fresh take on like the Banana Olympia.
It
The
is.
turon
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
used to, right?
So fruits in general, what they bring as a whole food group to your plate, they bring potassium, which is important for your blood pressure. A lot of times when we hear about controlling blood pressure, we're focused on what to cut out or what to reduce, which is the sodium, but it really, really helps to bring in more potassium as well as calcium and magnesium. Though all of these minerals help to relax your blood vessels to lower your blood pressure.
Good. And we're gonna go ahead and cut the apple. So we'll cut it into maybe like 1/2 inch of slices. So go ahead and cut straight. And then don't forget to take out the sticker.
So as she's cutting the apple, apples and a few other, or many other fruits and vegetables have a special fiber, special type of fiber called soluble fiber. Usually when we think of fiber, people automatically think of digestion and helping to use the restroom. And that's true. That's our insoluble fiber. It helps to bulk up things that are going through our GI tract and stimulate that bowel movement. But our soluble fiber can also help to bind cholesterol and reduce our body's absorption of cholesterol from our food. And in doing so, can help control our LDL cholesterol levels. So fruits like apples, also oats, our vegetables like Brussels sprouts, those are all key sources of soluble fiber.
Is there a way to visually differentiate between the two, soluble and insoluble fiber?
Not for us, yeah. It would happen more once it enters our system. The soluble fiber becomes more of like a sludge, I guess you can say. And that's, yeah, it's soluble, so it creates a different type of texture than the insoluble fiber.
So if you're consciously trying to get a good mixture of the two into your diet, you would just have to familiarize yourself with what foods are higher in soluble fiber and higher in insoluble fiber.
Not necessarily. So most fruits and vegetables have a mixture of both, but
Okay.
some are just especially rich sources of soluble fiber.
Okay.
But I guess just, the very traditional principle for nutrition of varying your food sources, it remains to this day for getting all different types of fiber into your diet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after all the fruits are cut, we're gonna go ahead and prepare our yogurt dip. So the yogurt that we're using today is just plain low-fat yogurt.
Okay, sorry, Joyce, I'm gonna pause you there. We're gonna save this one for after.
For after? Okay.
Just so we can keep a flow that I have in my head. So,
You want to wrap?
We are going to wrap. Did you want to help wrap?
Yes, I will, yes. Absolutely.
And then let me just check on the rice.
Okay.
Everything smells so good in here. The fruits smell good.
Okay. So here's one. And two.
Okay, actually, here.
Is there 2 in there?
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
And we're just dipping these, right? So we have
Yeah.
a bowl of water here. And what you can do is just make sure that you wet the entire thing. I'm just gonna
Just submerge it.
force it in there. Okay.
It'll still stick
yeah,
together
it'll be
anyways.
good because we'll wrap it neatly. Okay, and then you just let
So-
it sit.
Yeah.
Okay, so these clearly are the large rice papers. When I did the nutrient analysis for this recipe, it was actually for smaller papers. So if you are curious about the nutrition profile for this, it would be the small rice papers are about 50 calories, and then we would add about half a cup of fruits to that. So this one big roll, based on that calorie number, is that 140, Joyce? There you go. 240, so that's 80 calories per sheet. Okay, so this is one, basically one carb choice per sheet, equivalent to 1/3 cup of rice.
Okay. So you can wrap it any way you like, honestly, but the ones that you want to show on the outside, we will put that first. So what do you want to use
Joyce
first?
cut these into the cutest little hearts. So I'm going to choose the hearts to put on the outside.
Yes.
And I hope that it turns out nice.
So we'll do maybe 4?
Oh, sure. I'm going to do a pattern.
A pattern? Okay. So, oh, my heart's broken. Just kidding. So we'll do about 4 because you don't want to overfill it too much to where you can't wrap it together. Okay.
I feel like we should start with the flatter, harder things first, right? Because the inside would be like the mushier stuff. So after this, then apples. Does it matter? Does it matter?
It's up to you.
Okay.
So I'll do
What
that.
we found is it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
So if you have your
You're still
kids
gonna-
helping, just
Oh yeah,
they
this would
can
be
do
fun.
whatever.
This is
they want.
such a
Don't
good
stress.
activity for the kids.
Okay,
So
I am going
everything.
to add the cauliflower to the rice.
Cute.
Bananas.
Yes.
Like 2 or
2? Yep.
sure.
And banana.
So just a heads up, I am adding the cauliflower to the rice. The rice itself has absorbed most of the liquid. So that's kind of going to be my cue because we do need just a bit of moisture for the whole pot now, including
Yeah.
the cauliflower.
So I'm gonna attempt to wrap this without it breaking. So I'll go ahead and fold over one side and try to push it in together. And then
Oh, so cute. We have a little technical difficulty.
sorry. Then I'll wrap the outside together like this.
Okay.
And then
Just follow what you're doing.
And then roll it over.
Okay.
So I do have a little tear here, so hopefully the excess will cover that. Yes. How's yours looking?
Okay, I definitely should have had this harder fruit on the inside, but it turned out cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
displaying our love of fruit.
I love a fruit. The
broken heart.
with the broken heart. Okay, and I do have some plates so where we could put it together.
This is mine. This is Joyce's.
Beautiful.
So cute. Okay, I'll work on it.
So I'll just place these here, the finished products. And then,
we
put
can
it
share
here.
this.
Okay.
Okay, so if we're
Okay.
thinking calories, again, the rice roll is 80 calories. If you fit, that looks like a full cup of fruit, huh?
I think so. Yeah.
So that roll is about 140 calories when we include the fruit, which is still pretty good considering other dessert choices that might be offered at your barbecue. So again, calories is not the most important thing. We're adding a lot more nutrition to your barbecue plate with the fruits. I do want to say that the rice is, the cauliflower's in, but this, you do want to, more than regular rice, be more, monitor this more because it'll tend to burn the as opposed to if you cook rice in a pot, right?
Right.
You don't have to keep messing with it, but
Is this
you do
something
kind
you
of
could
have to.
even use like a rice cooker for? So like I learned recently you could make red rice in a rice cooker, and maybe that's common sense to a lot of people. Just didn't know. Would this be something that you can also just add it all to the rice cooker, let it sit?
I would say yes, yeah.
Okay.
You would probably just want to saute your spices first, because we did that as a step before adding everything.
Okay.
But
Okay.
once everything's all mixed together and you put the right amount of water, that should work. Okay. So it actually might be done.
Oh yeah, this one is done already. So
It looks very much like normal red rice. It even looks like the cauliflower could pass as like garlic pieces. Maybe you don't even have to tell people that it is half cauliflower.
So what we'll do is we'll just let the excess steam kind of cook the rest away, and then we're just gonna turn off the stove. So just leave it at that.
Yes. So please remember, if you're using frozen cauliflower, don't add it at the beginning. You need to wait, delay it a bit.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And now we are ready to move on to skewering.
Salmon.
So you're gonna skewer, and then
We'll preheat.
obviously we're not able to barbecue, so we're gonna finish the salmon off in the oven. And Joyce, what heat do we need the oven at?
We will preheat it at 475.
Okay.
So here is our salmon marinade.
It looks like the sugar's dissolved completely.
Yes.
It's more glossy and sheeny. And you can show it to me.
Here.
And still smells so good. I really am looking forward to like the cooked, like I don't want to say doneness, but I do like that charred flavor.
So after we're done putting it together, it only has to go into the oven for about 3 minutes, and then broil it for 2 minutes. So that's how you get the charred outside of the salmon. So.
And I can help
Alright.
skewer too.
Oh yes, please. So right here, so we pre-soaked the skewers about before we started, just so the salmon can glide through easily and it doesn't burn while cooking. Okay. So
I'll take a
here you
cup.
go. I have
I'm just
actually
gonna-
never skewered salmon before, so
We're learning together
we're learning
today.
together.
So, if there's any questions, by the way, about the recipes, you guys can go ahead and put in the chat. But I had a question, and is this like a recipe that you could use on a fillet? Like, could you just put it over, like if you're baking at home, right? Not necessarily like barbecue style, but just like have a fillet of salmon, put the glaze over, and then bake like that?
Yes. And actually that was the initial plan. We were just gonna have it as a fillet, but again, we wanted to give the barbecue aesthetic today. So, which is why we decided to commit to the skewering, but definitely can be just used for a fillet.
Okay, so we'll do about 5.
Okay, I have
pieces?
5 pieces there.
So we'll go ahead and lay it out in our baking tray right
Alright.
here. And then we can just make the rest.
Yeah, might as well.
So we here in the kitchen, we don't have a broiling pan. So if you are gonna in fact put this in the oven and not barbecue it, it would be best to have a broiling pan to let the juices kind of drip away. But you know, this works too if you don't have one.
When you were talking about the smoke hitting the charcoal and then heating and burning, right? Does that same effect happen in the oven as well?
That's a good question. So in the oven, there's not as much smoke that's produced. So while those compounds can be created to a degree, it's not as much as it would from a barbecue. Your temperature is also controlled. So whether you're making, cooking meat or salmon, having a more stable cooking time rather than continuing to flip over the grill. Just that exposure to the smoke is what creates the compounds. So we're reducing the smoke exposure.
Sorry. I feel like we're fighting for all the good pieces of salmon.
No, we're not.
That looks so good.
It does look so good.
So in addition to the heart benefits related to, did we talk about that, Gianna, already?
What
Heart
was that?
benefits of omega-3s?
We didn't talk about the benefits of omega-3 specifically.
Okay, so
I'm just
omega-3s,
gonna change my desk.
they help
just
to fight inflammation. Okay, so that inflammatory process can damage cells. So that's one way that one benefit of omega-3s. Another one is that they can also help reduce your triglyceride levels. Okay, as well as increase your HDL. So omega-3s generally help to rebalance your cholesterol if you have numbers that you're struggling with. Be more conscious of how much seafood that you're taking in, and try to get those 2 servings per week.
Per week, okay.
And then beyond heart health, there are some brain benefits. So the omega-3s, those are a family of fatty acids. And the main ones are EPA and DHA. So that DHA is actually a structural component of our brain. And then it has been shown that omega-3 fatty acids can help reduce the risk, can help reduce depression and anxiety.
That's a good, oh wow. That's a good way to tie it into food being also like, not necessarily, you don't want it to get to the point where it becomes a medicine, but how it can also help enhance your mental health. Right, with what by putting good ingredients into your body, you also get good benefits.
Okay. So while you guys were talking, I just put some of the leftover marinade on top of the salmon.
Okay.
And then the oven is still preheating, so...
Okay, we can move on to the yogurt dip.
Okay,
Alright.
so I'll go ahead and wash my hands really quickly.
Let me just get a napkin
Sure,
as well.
sure. Okay, so let's see. We have our seafood, we have our red rice, we talked about fruits. What haven't we discussed?
I think I like whipped some of the marinade on my face. When I had the gloves on, I was trying to smell it.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
My hands are wet. It's kind of hard.
So they're going to get started on the yogurt dip, and that's what we haven't discussed yet, the ingredients and the benefits of that. So while Joyce is getting that ready, I'm just going to clean this area up while you guys get started on the yogurt dip.
Sounds good.
Just so it's sanitary, another important thing with nutrition is food safety, right? So we definitely don't want any of the remnants of the raw ingredients around once everything that's cooked comes back out.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
Okay, so going over
So this
to
is like
side.
part 2 of the fresh fruit spring rolls.
Yes. So we have our bowl here, and then we only need 3 ingredients for the yogurt dip. So originally we used Greek yogurt for the recipe, but we couldn't find any today, so we just have the low-fat plain yogurt.
Okay.
So for the yogurt,
Something I also recently learned is that you can get the consistency of Greek yogurt with regular Greek yogurt by sieving out the water from regular yogurt. So that's just a little fun fact for you guys there.
So we'll go ahead and measure about 2 cups of the yogurt. I want to say, what do you think 2 cups is in this?
2 cups?
Yeah, is
Here,
it
hold on.
about?
This is what I do. So there's 5 servings, 2/3 cups, about 4 cups. That's just half.
About half of it? Okay. So we'll do about half of this. Let me just break it up. It's gonna plop, guys. Yep. So about
I feel like
2
that's
cups.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 cups
But I
of
also
yogurt.
feel like, sorry, that this is one of those recipes where you can kind of combine the ingredients to taste, like
Yes.
to taste preference.
And then with that, we're gonna do about a tablespoon of honey. So this one, I'm about to eyeball this too. So about a tablespoon of honey, I wanna say about this, and adjust to your sweetness as well. And then for the original recipe, it does call for fresh apples, but today we just opted to use applesauce. Because if you use fresh apples, I believe the sauce would have been too gritty,
The
and we want it to
texture
be more of a dip.
would, okay, be effective.
So you want to open this one?
Yeah.
So put about 2 applesauce pouches, and we can put it in together here. So we're just gonna go ahead and mix it up.
We call that chef's tax. Or chef's assistant's tax.
Chef's assistant's tax. All right.
With unsweetened applesauce versus a full apple, is there going to be a big nutrient difference?
You know what? I'm so used to using unsweetened applesauce that I can't even remember the last time I looked at a regular one, so I can't say. But since we are adding the honey, I think, any amount that you can reduce helps.
I see. Oh, like sweetness, for sweetness.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Would you guys like to taste test it before we
I'm going to taste test it with the
stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe we can show them what the final product looks like.
Okay. There you go.
And it looks very creamy, very smooth.
Then I'll go ahead and get a bowl so we can plate it.
Sure.
Over. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Excuse me.
And maybe in the meantime, we can just even prep the rest of the spring rolls. Yeah, why not? Just grab a napkin.
Okay, so we put some of the yogurt dip in here. So here's the yogurt dip. We prepping the rest of this
Okay, don't mind us. We just want to,
transition.
yeah, nice, neat, and clean service. So other than the potassium, it's the calcium, right, that the yogurt brings. So calcium, as I mentioned, is also good for your blood pressure. We know that it's also very important for your bones and teeth. And a lot of people would associate calcium just with childhood or children needing it, but it's very, very important for everyone to take it in over the course of their lifespan. Calcium has a more essential function, which is your muscle contraction, including regulating your heart rate. Okay, so because of that essential function, your body will strip your calcium from the bones at the expense just to maintain those essential functions of muscle contraction. And in doing so, if you're not taking enough calcium every day, that's what creates little pockets in your bone from that calcium being stripped away. And over time, it can lead to osteopenia and eventually osteoporosis. So women, especially after menopause, are especially susceptible to this condition.
I was told when I was pregnant too that calcium was so important in building up as a woman, because when you give birth, your baby gets everything that they need at the expense of the mother. So also important for women to build up those calcium deposits in their bones. Is that right?
So not just for calcium, but as you said, it's a lot of the other nutrients. So it's not only that, your vitamin D, also your omega-3s, intake of that is especially important for that baby.
And we care about maternal health here.
And then, sorry, I'm gonna get out of the way. You guys look prepared to roll a little bit more.
I just wanted to check on the...
The oven is still preheating.
Okay. So we'll just go ahead
And then while you're doing that, I can talk about probiotics.
Yes, for the yogurt, yes.
So you may or may not have noticed on your yogurt, a little statement contains live cultures or probiotics, or if you turn to the ingredients, there might actually be the probiotic strains. And probiotics are live bacteria or microbes that can populate your GI tract. Okay, so our probiotics or our microbiome is very, very important for digestive health. They can strengthen our gut lining. When the gut lining is intact, it can prevent anything. How do I say this? It can prevent the absorption of basically substances that aren't supposed to be leaking into your bloodstream. Okay, so through tight junctions. So again, the integrity is strong, and in that way it can help protect against, it helps support your immune system. Okay, so let's walk this back, right? Probiotics are microbes that live in your gut, and they have digestive functions by helping to form nutrients as well as metabolize nutrients. And then they can also support your immune system by strengthening that gut lining and protecting that barrier from what goes in your stomach and eventually makes its way into your bloodstream. Okay, so you can think of your gut lining really as your body's first line of defense for your immune system, right? Just the same way that we think of like our nose or our throat, pathogens can also enter through the gut lining. There are many different probiotic strains, all with different benefits associated with it. So the probiotics that you get from a yogurt versus a kimchi versus a sauerkraut versus something in a supplement, again, all of those would have different strains. And if you have a specific concern, it is important to talk to your doctor or talk to a dietitian about a specific strain for the concern that you are managing. Okay.
Almost there.
The oven is still preheating.
Okay.
Is there two in that one?
Yeah, there is. Here.
Thanks. It's not too much of a concern because the skewers are going to be pretty fast, right?
They
It's just a
are.
few minutes,
They
so.
are.
Just a few minutes.
Do we have
Plus,
any
I'm
questions
enjoying-
from the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, as we await any questions, I can talk more about nutrients you might find in fruits. Beta carotene, this is usually in our red and orange fruits and vegetables. And beta carotene is used in our body to form vitamin A. So it's also called provitamin A. And vitamin A functions to support our immune system as well as vision. Beta carotene in itself is a strong antioxidant, again, which helps to protect our cells. And antioxidants are especially important for reducing our risk of certain types of cancer.
Okay, anything from the chat? So what would you say is what would you say if you're trying to make a barbecue, right, like be more health conscious about the people who will be present at the barbecue, and you want to offer advice to like family who may want to bring a more healthful option to the barbecue, how would you advise them?
So like if they were asking what to bring?
Yeah, like how generally, if you want to prioritize healthy foods at a barbecue, what would you tell someone if they're trying to be, again, make those healthier decisions, but they're on their way to like a family barbecue?
Okay, so it's as simple as going back to that My Plate graphic, which is filling half of your plate with fruits and vegetables, limiting your starches to about a quarter plate and your proteins to about a quarter plate. We have behind us the picture of the DASH diet, which is specifically helpful for controlling blood pressure. And the same mechanics are here. This is more of a pie chart than a meal, in that we have our dairy incorporated into this pie chart, and it's going by servings. But again, I think nutrition in general, if we start to overcomplicate things, we think that it's maybe not practical or realistic. But really, the foods that we come across every day, even at barbecues, can be managed so that we're eating a healthy pattern if we just think about balance and the correct portioning as that's depicted in My Plate. Another way to think of food groups is to think of the benefits. So the World Health Organization Pacific region actually came up with this, the 3 food groups, which basically just combining fruits and vegetables. But we see starch as our energy foods, proteins as our body building foods, and fruits and vegetables as our protective foods. So again, always keeping in mind that the principles of balance and understanding that every food group has a role. I think when someone really, really understands that and appreciates food for their benefits, they can start to be a bit more motivated to make healthier choices.
Okay, I think that's so good to hear, like so relieving to hear, because so many people put a lot of pressure when they're trying to change their lifestyle or try to incorporate healthier habits, right? Where you feel like you have to do everything all at once. Like, to keep it simple and realistic is probably the best approach for sustainable changes for a healthier lifestyle. So I like to hear that a lot. Okay, so we've made a few more of our fresh fruit spring rolls.
Yeah, that actually.
I
made
chose
a
our
lot.
prettiest ones for our display plate.
So just to be clear, so we can show the audience how much we made, right? With that was we didn't even use a full carton of strawberries yet, right?
No, and
This
there's
was a
still
full.
some on the display in the front too.
Oh, okay. And then how many mangoes? 2?
That's about 2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
How many
2
kiwis?
kiwis, 2 bananas, and then 1 apple.
Okay.
So not too many ingredients at all. And each one again is about a full serving of fruit, right, at 1 cup. And then this can probably make at least 4 or 5 more, I would think. So I think this is a really good little preparation dish to make for a barbecue. I like it.
And then the rice paper can get a little firmer. Obviously, you don't want to put it in the fridge long, and so it really hardens up. But if you're wanting to cut these into smaller portions, maybe halves, stick it in the fridge for a little bit, maybe 10 minutes, so it hardens just a little before you cut it, so
Oh,
it
that's a
doesn't
good
get
tip.
all, so you don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Another tip too, if you're gonna be rolling fresh spring rolls, is just putting it in saran wrap. So you can wrap it in saran wrap and then just cut it in half and then plate it in your tray.
Like one of those skewer mats they would use for the real sushis. Like it would be acting as the skewer
Yeah.
mat. Yeah. Cool.
So you just use saran wrap, and then it won't stick to each other if you're trying to like put it onto the tray.
Yeah. Just make sure you don't eat this around.
Don't eat the saran wrap. I've had that before.
Happens to the best of us.
Yes. Put it in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're just gonna put the salmon in. It really shouldn't take long to cook. And so we're going to bake first and then broil for like a minute.
Okay. So bake first and then broil on top.
Yes.
And maybe while that's happening, we can do our taste test. Do we want to
Yeah,
cut these
let's
in
do it.
half? Or no? I think maybe not.
There's a knife there.
For the mess.
Yeah, I don't want you to ruin your work. They're so beautiful.
It has nothing to do with wanting to finish the whole thing by myself.
You need your serving.
I need my full serving of fruit. But this one we can set aside.
Okay, for
Yeah.
Yes, and
For our final product.
you.
And
plate the
then
red rice too.
Sure. Here, let me get the little bowls. So this is for a photo. We can do that after, right? Oh. You get a nice bowl to.
oh yeah, we can check on our rice. This looks so good. Fully convinced.
Yeah, actually, could probably let it air out a little bit more. So, I know I mentioned earlier about keep mixing it so it doesn't burn, but you also don't want to overmix and make it mush. You want to try this first? I think you should try this with the salmon.
I'm gonna wait for
Okay.
the.
Yeah.
But
product for
this
the
is how it looks. Okay. But let's taste test the fruit.
Yeah, let's do it. Have you guys tried it already?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I
yes,
don't.
we've
Should
done
I
this
just
for
dip
2.
right through here? I don't know. Should I?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. I won't
So you
double
wanna,
dip.
like drizzle it.
Or you can drizzle it too on top.
Well, I'm just doing a taste test, so maybe no drizzle. Or, oh, I see what you're saying, like this, like drizzle it like that. Okay, yeah, that's much. I just get so excited, I don't even think about these things.
Another thing that we don't have today, but you can, sorry to interrupt you, but you can consider is adding mint to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like that would be a good addition, like chopped mint in like the mixture of everything. So maybe adding it to like something that mixes well, like the mango or or not even the kiwi, just the mango, or even adding it to the strawberries with like lime juice. Okay. So I'm just gonna try this. Don't watch me eat.
Let me get you a napkin.
That's great.
Very good.
Thank you.
Get crunch and it's soft. Sorry. Okay.
What I really like is the mixture of the texture. So the texture from the wrap itself, and then the crunch from the fruits and vegetables, or the fruits, the crunch from the apples, and then the like lighter mouthfeel of the mangoes and kiwi. It's all like a really good mixture. I think this is something definitely my kids would like.
How about that yogurt dip?
Oh, the yogurt is so good. It's like the perfect amount of like creaminess and sweetness. It doesn't feel like overly sweet.
Okay.
And it doesn't feel like that was too much honey either. Like really good balance overall.
Not too tart?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I like a lot of desserts that have like whipped cream on it, or like one of my favorites is like the tres leches cake.
Okay.
And so the dip is giving that kind of like flavor, like very vanilla, and I enjoy it a lot. Yeah, that was wonderful. I get to finish this later.
Okay. Yeah. So we are just waiting on the salmon.
Waiting on the salmon. So we put it in the oven for 3 minutes only, and then I switched it to broil for 2 minutes to get that crispy outside. It all smells so good.
I am very pleasantly like satisfied with the fresh fruit spring roll. And you would think that the textures, it's kind of giving like mochi almost, like a mochi fruit roll.
I can't. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I would definitely tell that to my kids. I think fresh fruit spring roll might be a mouthful for them, but definitely something like kid friendly too, because they can hold it, eat it however they want. And something really good for the family to prepare. So one thing that I love about like traditional cooking, right, is that you don't have to, you can get all hands on, and this is one of those recipes that is really good for like a family setting where if you're from like a traditional Filipino household, when it's time to make lumpia, everyone is helping make lumpia because rolling takes forever, right? And it's this is equally as much fun and more colorful. So I'm really enjoying this a lot. It's very kid friendly, very family friendly. Maybe
Ooh.
How's it looking?
Looks good.
Smells good.
Okay. I know this is going to be really hot.
Oh my God, that smell.
Okay. And then maybe we'll get some tongs.
Sure.
So we can like
Sorry,
move it around.
excuse me.
Oh, good.
You want the big ones or smaller ones?
No, it's fine now. Hopefully it'll grab it. She's shy. So do two.
And some of the pieces have really nicely charred around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't take long at all. This would be really good for like a weekday recipe or a weeknight dinner. Wow. Oh my God, it smells good, looks good. I hope to see all. If I'm invited to any of your fiestas, I hope to see this on the fiesta table. It looks so good. This is half vegetables. This is half fiber and vitamins and minerals. Okay, and then this is heavy on those omega-3s. Like, so good. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yes, this is my favorite part of the whole thing every time.
Well, just be careful. This one is hot, okay?
Yeah, it does look hot. So maybe I'll just do
So-
like a tiny piece.
Piece of the
We
salmon.
If
will
there's like a
get
small
some-
plate.
Yes.
I can't stop looking at all the food too. I keep looking at the fruits like
It's
want
okay,
to
we made
eat
enough.
it.
We made enough for everyone.
Okay. Maybe. I have gloves on still. We're good.
Just
I
like
can
a couple
just.
pieces. Like it doesn't have to be a whole thing either.
Yeah, we'll do like. Just like that. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
and it's so flaky. You guys are gonna eat this with me, right?
yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then like a scoop of the rice.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like a tiny little piece.
It's okay.
It's our
gonna
own
put a
little
little scoop of rice
individuals,
as well.
fiesta bowls.
And then some rice.
Yeah, we can even just grab it from here, right?
There you go. Yep.
I get like a spoon.
If you are into sports, right now we have an active volleyball league. This is really good fuel for your activity. Oh shoot.
Okay. And I'll get some rice too.
Are you gonna grab some?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait for you guys.
Oh, salmon is cooked.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
The salmon is so perfect. And the rice is really nice and savory. It's still very fluffy. I would have no idea that there was cauliflower in here at all. So for this, or for me, this is definitely a win. It's definitely a win. You have that like sweet flavor from the salmon. I just generally love salmon, so this is really delicious. If your fiesta tables look anything like this currently, like please invite me. I have a very small family, so you know. Good thing I married into a big family. They have fiestas all the time, thank God. Oh no, now I'll have to be the one to bring it. It's fine. My in-laws can look forward to it.
Joyce, you did well on
good.
these recipes.
They're wonderful.
I'm shocked myself. But the red rice really did turn out good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turned out really well. Next time we see each other, I'll let you know how it goes in the rice cooker.
Okay.
I will burn rice on the stove, like for sure. It's happened. I've tried actually. My Nana would not be proud. Okay. So if there were any other questions from the group, we can address them now. If none, I want to thank you guys so much for having us back here. Hold on. I want to thank you guys so much for having us back here. It's always a good time, and we always look forward to these recipes. Our next session, or our next Eat Right virtual workshop, will be on August 22nd. The recipes for that will be forthcoming. I hope you guys all join us, and tell your friends and family, because these are open and they're free virtual workshops, and one of our favorite partnerships. So thank you guys again. And if there's anything you wanted to add.
No, just we're glad you joined us today, and we hope to see you again next month. And if you didn't know, now you know that Payless has a Health Smart program. We can do this demo or similar demos for you and your organization. So contact us and let us know.
Okay, thank you guys, and see you tomorrow.